News Talk 820 WBAP, now on FM at 93.3. Make it a preset. 800-288-WBAP is our number, 800-288-9227. Chris Crock Show on News Talk 820 WBAP. All right, so, and now on FM at 93.3. I laughed this off yesterday. I saw a tweet, or maybe it was the other day. A lot of us saw some coverage of it, but we're like, yeah, right. At least I was. I blew it off. Mayor Eric Johnson saying that he wants to bring the Chiefs to Dallas. The Kansas City Chiefs to Dallas. And I think that, well, at first I laughed it off, but then I hear Clayton Neville, who is one of our longtime colleagues here at WBAP, and now he's the co-host of DFW's Morning News, mornings on our sister station that I used to do the afternoon show at, 570 KLF News and Information. So Clayton has this exclusive. The other half of the interview is airing today, or tomorrow, I should say, tomorrow morning on 570 KLF News and Information. And he's going to be joining us in about 10 minutes to really talk about the interview and promote it some more for tomorrow. But he's got some really critical information. And I have to say, I'm now taking it seriously that the mayor is not just playing a game. I don't have much faith in our mayor with the alleged Republican switch over. I think it's fake. I think it's because he's going to run for statewide office. But I don't think, as a Republican, I don't think the Republican flip is genuine at all, in my opinion. It's for opportunistic. But on this regard, I kind of felt the same way. But he is serious based on what I'm hearing. And in fact, Clayton Neville, when in his interview, he'll talk about this a little bit more coming up next. But the mayor already has the location, 700 acres. It's called Hensley Field. It is southern Dallas, South Dallas, where it meets with Grand Prairie. It's a little bit of a rough neighborhood, a lot of primarily warehouses and stuff. And there's 700 acres, and he says it will be stunningly beautiful. It'll blow away out of the water anything, including Jerry World, which, come on, really? And then when he was asked about contacting the Hunt family, which is the family from the Lamar Hunt, of which I am friends with one of the siblings of the Hunt family, my dear friend, June Hunt, who has her own radio show, and she's a sweet dear friend of mine and a mentor, and I love her very much. But it's one of her relatives. I don't know exactly how that rolls on that, if it's a brother or cousin or whatnot, but he owns the Chiefs, as we all know, and he will not confirm or deny, the mayor, that he's actually talked to some of the Hunts. And when the Hunts say this, when they're asked about it, they're actually saying bad things, at least through their Chiefs team president, Mark Donovan. They rejected in Kansas City a sales tax to pay to renovate Arrowhead Stadium for the Chiefs and build a new stadium for the Royals. At the same time, the mayor, Quinton Lucas, says, it's collaborative. We want to ensure the team stay here and remain in Kansas City for generations to come. But the team president of the Chiefs, Mark Donovan, threatened the team could leave if the measure didn't pass. It failed this past week, and it could have been an attempt to merely scare voters, says NBC Sports. But, quote, the Chiefs president said, "We're disappointed. We feel we put forth the best offer. We were ready to extend the long-standing partnership. We will do and look to what is in the best interest of our fans and our organizations as we move forward." It is pretty darn serious as it gets as I hear that, because, I thought about this today. I'm listening to, on audio, a fantastic book that I really, really recommend you read or listen to on audio tape, like I've been doing, The Way of the Shepherd. And a UT business MBA major is talking to his professor who's mentoring and teaching him. And the professor talks about how when one of his colleagues went to the president, stodgy, stuffy old president, and said, "Hey, I've got an offer at a university, it's better, and they're offering me to go." And then the president, the dean went, "You know what? I hate to lose you. This is going to be tough if we lose you, but I understand if you have a better opportunity." In other words, goodbye, right? It called his bluff really fast, and it shut him up in a nice way. So I don't think the Chiefs seem to be calling a bluff. I'm not a sports guy. I don't live in Kansas City. I don't follow this with a microcosm. But the way this comes across to me is not good. Here's what the mayor said on this morning's show of the Dallas DFW's Morning News with Clayton and his co-host, of course, Laura Sadler. And by the way, before I play some of this audio, these cuts, I want to ask you two questions about this. Would you welcome the Kansas City Chiefs as a new NFL team in Dallas. Can we share two major NFL teams in DFW? And number two, would you be open to tax incentives? The mayor he's kind of like a woman, the old time woman putting her leg out to get picked up on the highway. You know what I mean? Like stick your leg out a little bit. You know, the old stereotypical thing from whatever. But so he's kind of sticking his leg out, like to have somebody pull over and pick him up. You know what I'm saying? And showing a little leg. Hey, but are you willing to pay a tax thing? You know, to have your money go towards taxes if you're in the metroplex or in Dallas County? So those are the two questions. Would you welcome the Kansas City Chiefs as a new NFL team in Dallas, and would you be open to the incentives to make that happen? 800-288-WBAP is our number. 800-288-9227. Chime in right now. I want to hear from you at 800-288-WBAP. Would you welcome the Kansas City Chiefs as a new NFL team to Dallas, and would you be open to tax incentives to make it happen? I got to tell you that I do think that we're a big enough metropolitan area. We are now the fourth largest metropolitan area in the country. That just happened recently. Obviously, we overtook the shrinking fallen San Francisco, what was once a great city, and we are now at about 8.1 million, according to the demographers and such. So we could do it. You got the Los Angeles Rams and the Chargers in Los Angeles. Granted, they got 11 million. We got 8 million now. And the New York City with 14 million has the Jets and the Giants. Why couldn't we do it? Chicago, which is we're going to overtake them in the next 10, 15 years, my hometown, and become the third largest metropolitan area. They have one team, the Bears, and they always have, and they probably always will. But do you think this is something, would you support this? 800-288-WBAP is our number, 800-288-9227. Lines wide open for you right now, 4 lines open. Let's hear some of the Mayor Johnson clips exclusive from the great Clayton Neville. Here it is.
I believe that we, and I say we, I mean the city of Dallas, right now would be in a position to negotiate with the Chiefs organization to build a sports complex that would be the envy of the entire world and would be the best in the NFL at Hensley Field in Dallas.
Well, and the more you hear, the more serious he really is. I'll get to that in a little bit. But right now, we're going to talk to Frank and Colleen, who's called in at 800-288-WBAP. Frank, you are on 820 AM and now 93.3 FM WBAP. Hey, Frank.
Hey, thanks for taking my call. This just seems like repeating something. I'm from St. Louis, and we watched the Rams leave St. Louis, go to Los Angeles, and now we root for Kansas City, and now they're talking about wanting to bring the Chiefs to Dallas. Man, it's like nobody can have fans keep their teams. It's like the NFL just wants to gather them to whatever place. I understand maybe you want to have a better place to play in that, but my goodness, man, fans want to have a team, and just people are just sucking the life out of it.
I will say this: Kansas City is a declining city from everything I've seen. I used to fill in for them for about 2-3 years. Their morning show there, I love their morning guy there. He's on our sister station there, and so I got to know the city a little bit. And you know, there's that insane social justice garbage and felons running free, criminals committing criminals. I mean, crimes and never getting held accountable for it. High violence, high homicide rates, and you got. I mean, look at that. The Chiefs can't even have a rally, a Super Bowl rally, to celebrate it without having thugs as what they were. They're thugs shooting at each other over a disagreement. You can't even have a normal celebration in a city like that. It's just embarrassing to them, and it's pathetic. And that could be a nice little black eye on the way out, you know?
Yeah, well, like I say, we were pretty upset when the Rams left St. Louis and went back to Los Angeles.
I was shocked. The Rams practice right after I left Western Illinois University, where I went to college in Western Illinois. The Rams were practicing there for a summer or two, and because that's only 2-3 hours or less from St. Louis, a couple hours, I think. And when they lost them, it shocked me because that is a legendary team. That's a beautiful. I mean, it's a crap hole with the same thing I was talking about with Kansas City, but but that sports town is a hell of a sports town, I gotta say. And just from what little I know, the Cards are. I was in Middle Missouri for a year doing a talk show, my first talk show. I mean, being a talk show host there for even only a year in mid-Missouri in Jefferson City, the capital, you learn a lot about the state. And Stan Musial, who lied in state when I was there when he passed away, the former announcer for the Cards, it shocked the heck out of me. St. Louis is a good area if you're not in the inner city, unfortunately. But it would suck for Kansas City, but this does not look too good for them. And boy, does this mayor, with 3 years left before he's out, term limited out, does he want this badly? Frank, I appreciate your call, my friend. Philip in Lubbock, you're going to be coming up next. And exactly, he's going Jerry. What about Jerry Jones' thoughts? We'll hear what he says about that coming up next. And Clayton Neville, who broke this story, has a lot more information what the mayor said coming up next. Plus your call at 800-288-WBAP, 800-288-9227 on News Talk 820 WBAP, now on FM at 93.3.
I think that the Chiefs organization could have a stadium and a headquarters that would be more impressive than Jerry World and the Star right in the city of Dallas. And I think that deal can be done.
Okay, Philip in Lubbock is standing by, but before we do that, I wanted to, as promised, Clayton Neville, our awesome reporter at WBAP for years, and now the co-host of DFW's Morning News on 570 KLF News and Information, where I used to do an afternoon show when I came here 14 years ago, for 2 years before coming over to WBAP. Clayton, this is really, I laughed at this, I dismissed it yesterday when I first saw it, but you're saying he really sounds serious, and the mayor sounds like he's got a serious plan. And you got part two airing tomorrow, too. I want to mention that as well on your morning show, 570 KLF News and Information.
Yeah, we'll have part two tomorrow at 7:20 in the morning. Chris, good to talk to you. What was interesting is when I walked in there today for the interview, and he sat down with us for about 10 minutes, the first thing I said to him was, Mayor, thanks for doing this. This is a fun story. Because I was kind of like you. It was the same kind of thing, something fun to talk about, just a possible idea. And he looked at me, and he kind of smiled, and he said, yeah, it's fun, but it's not really about the fun. This is business. And then he sat down and started talking, and I was like, oh, he's serious. This is business. And then he started having, real points like the proposal and where the stadium could be. And then I asked him if he actually spoke with the Hunts about this, and he wouldn't say for sure, but he didn't say no, which a lot of times can mean yes. So this has a lot more legs than we initially thought it did. Now, does that mean that the Kansas City Chiefs are coming to Dallas? I certainly wouldn't go that far, but it means that this mayor is very serious about bringing the Chiefs, if not an expansion team, to southern Dallas specifically.
Clayton, I never even knew about, obviously there's lots of land in South Dallas, Southeast, Southwest, or whatever that's open. It's rural out there. In fact, in many areas, it's pretty interesting. Hensley Field, I didn't even know it existed, but there it is. Tell me what you know about it. And I didn't even know about it. Did you? Does anybody know about it unless you work in that area or something?
Yeah, or maybe even work in the media, because the only times I've ever been out there are for just completely random City of Dallas press conferences that have to do with just like a lot of space. Like, for example, if the Dallas firefighters are going to respond to a hurricane to help out in another area or something like that, they deploy from there. Or let's say they're storing Secret Service vehicles. They've got 50 or 60 of them lined up in a parking lot out there. It literally is just a giant warehouse district owned by the City of Dallas right on that Grand Prairie line. Kind of industrial area just south of 30. So it's a 700-acre area of Dallas, really underrated, and as the mayor talked about, it's got scenic views and a lot of value, or the potential for a lot of value, I guess.
So what else made you think the mayor is serious? I know that part two is coming tomorrow. You really gave me some great factoids when we were talking in our pre-interview earlier today.
Well, he certainly has thought a lot about this, and what I got into with him was the Jerry Jones factor. A lot of people are thinking Jerry Jones would never allow that. The mayor had a different perspective, saying, he knows Jerry Jones. Jerry Jones is a very competitive guy. He doesn't think that he would turn away that competition, and he also thinks that there are some potential benefits for the Cowboys as well. Chris, he was talking a lot about, like the New York Jets and the New York Giants, and then started putting it in a Texas perspective and said, what if DFW was the home, like the Jets and the Giants are, to the Chiefs and the Cowboys? You start thinking it from that perspective, and the dollar signs start to light up. And that really is what the motivation here is for the mayor. And I can say that now. It's not just somebody who's infatuated with sports or being in the headlines. He actually wants to make this happen. Now, whether or not that means it will, I don't know, but he wants to.
Clayton, the amount of money, isn't he going to have to raise our taxes or have us vote on some tax thing to pay for it?
Well, all of that stuff can be worked out. That's certainly possible. He says that there's a plan in place that if the county is involved, if the incentive programs are involved, if the hunts specifically is what we were talking about with Kansas City, who has ties to Dallas, are involved, he believes he can get it done. He was specifically talking about a deal with the Chiefs and that he is confident, or he believes that it could get done. I wouldn't go as far as to say confident. He believes there's a path there. And if that, for some reason, fell off, he would still go forward with an expansion team, or at least try to. He likes that idea and supports it.
I got to say, we're really going back and forth over here behind the scenes with my colleagues here. And honestly, they're saying the Chiefs, first of all, is a winning team. The Cowboys is not a winning team. And Jerry, quote, doesn't spend money on them, comparatively speaking. So it'll be great to have a team that actually will win and spends money on their players, is what I'm hearing from my colleagues. And that makes sense to me. Jerry will also, I'm hearing from my colleagues that it makes sense to me, too. Jerry's so powerful and wealthy, he's not going to let this go through. He's going to stop it.
Yeah, well, yeah, and here's the other whole factor to this, and I brought it up with the mayor just a little bit. He's getting a lot of people excited about the possibility of this idea. If it starts to become a reality, then he's got to think about, well, we don't want this thing to end up in Frisco, or we don't want this thing to end up in North Richland Hills.
I was going to say, yes.
They have to compete because Dallas is losing these type of venues to other places as well. So that's what he says is why Hensley Field is so critical. He said that's kind of the key for Dallas is going to be this Hensley Field idea.
And it's in a rough area, but I mean, I'm from Chicago, and I've been to a lot of Stones concerts and Bulls games in the United Center and Hawks games, and that's in a rough area, man, faux shizzle. And but nonetheless, they don't mess with you because they take care of it,
Yeah, and that if that happened, there'd be plenty of money behind it, and it would sure be an elaborate facility. A long way to go there, certainly. But, I wouldn't be shocked, and I told my wife this tonight, actually. We got a 4-year-old son. I said, I wouldn't be shocked if he's going to, maybe not Chiefs games, but games, NFL games in Southern Dallas as a high schooler or a college student. I really think that's possible.
Now you got me thinking about the Chiefs. All right, Clayton, what time is your interview tomorrow with the mayor we can listen to?
Yep, 7:20 on 570 at DFW's Morning News.
And go Dallas Chiefs. Thank you, Clayton Neville, here tomorrow morning on 570 KLF News and Information.
All right, appreciate it. Thanks.
Bye. Go Chiefs. Whoops, sorry about that. That was my bad button here. So go Chiefs. Okay, Philip and Lubbock here next. We're going to really munch on this with you. The questions are, of course, would you welcome Kansas City Chiefs as a new NFL team in Dallas, an expansion team, a second team, not expansion, but a second team? And would you be open to tax incentives to make that happen? 800-288-WBAP, 800-288-9227.
That is a 700-acre wholly owned site that is breathtakingly beautiful. And I would argue that you could put together a deal with Hensley Field and the Chiefs that would blow out of the water anything else that I've seen in the NFL, including Jerry World and including the Star.
Well, there is Mayor Eric Johnson, Dallas, with an exclusive interview today with 570 KLF News and Information, Clayton Neville, and his co-host, of course, Laura Sadler. And Part 2 is tomorrow at 7:20 a.m. And boy, the mayor's serious, and he has the 700 acres. He's got Hensley Field, southeastern Dallas, I guess. No, excuse me, southwestern Dallas, where it borders Grand Prairie. And why? Because a failed vote on stadium renovations in Kansas City means that the Chiefs team president, threatened the team could leave if the measure didn't pass. It didn't, by 28,000 votes out of it was 78 against and 56 for. So it didn't pass, and it could have been an attempt to merely scare voters, says NBC Sports. But, quote, the team president, Mark Donovan, went on, "We're disappointed. We put forth the best offer. We were ready to extend long-standing partnership. We will do and look what is in the best interest of our fans and our organization as we move forward." I know they play hardball and play games, but I don't think this is a game. Is this coming across as a game to you, Producer Garrett? No, I mean this is like I said about the UT professor who told his dean in this story. This book I'm reading, The Good Shepherd, or the Way of the Shepherd, and the professor went to the dean and said, "Hey, I got an offer," and he's like he's using it as a threat to try to get more money out of the dean. The dean's like, "Okay, well, we're sorry to see you leave. Boy, that really is terrible news. Well, we hope your new adventure is great. Don't let the door hit you in the butt," is what basically is what he said, right? And so when you say that to the city a lot like that, I don't know. It doesn't sound like a bluff to me. Who knows? But so Mayor Johnson sweeps in and says he will not confirm or deny that he's talked to the Hunt family, the billionaire Hunt family that owns the Chiefs. And by the way, the Chiefs are a winning team. What did they win? 2 of the past 3 Super Bowls? Is that right? 3 since 2020. Yeah, so I'm impressed with my I have basically no sports knowledge. I'm not a sports guy. I never have been. But I like going to the games of our big teams and enjoy that, particularly the Stars. But and I've been to a Cowboys game and I enjoyed it. But anyway, I think Jerry's got a losing team. I've not seen any winning. Have you? In 14 years since I've been here, I've seen no winning. What has it been? 20 years? Honestly, 24 years? 96. So 28 years, guys. Jerry he's got his head up his butt, and we all know that he always has. And his power is going to probably try to stop this. And so the mayor wants this in Dallas, and he's offering all this stuff. And people are saying tonight, we're talking back and forth, that Jerry's going to stop this. But I don't know. Don't you want a winning team? Would you want the Chiefs? Would you do that? Can we support 2 teams with 8.1 million people, fourth largest metropolitan area in the country now? 800-288-WBAP is our number, 800-288-9227. Let's go to Philip in Lubbock. You are on 820 AM and now on 93.3 FM, WBAP. Hey, Philip.
Hi there. Thanks for the opportunity. I think Jerry is probably in the top 5 as far as people with the largest egos around. And I heard about this yesterday, and I was just curious, have you heard about anything or what he's going to do? I think Jerry would probably try to stop it. I would support it. I live in Lubbock. I've been there for quite a few years. I used to live in Houston when Jerry bought the team, and I was not real content with what happened with him and Tom Landry. And
I don't think anybody was from what I heard back in the day, right?
Say again?
I don't think anybody was from what I heard back in the day on that.
I don't think anybody was then, and I don't think anybody is now. Even though it's been a long time ago.
Right.
I've met Tom Landry several times, and he's he's a gentleman of gentlemen.
I've heard nothing but great things. Yeah.
You never will hear anything except great things. But Jerry, I live in Lubbock. I come to Dallas 2 or 3 times a month. And I listen to you, and I think you're fabulous. But
thank you. I do too.
Well, you're supposed to. I just, my son and I have been. We come 2 or 3 times a year. We buy our tickets. We go to the games. My daughter and I went to TCU, and we try to plan several Saturday TCU games and Sunday Cowboy games. And I think it would do. I think the city would embrace it. From what I understand, from what I speak to about the people that I deal with.
I got to tell you, even though I'm not, I don't claim to ever be a sports guy or a sports talker. I'm not, but I got to tell you, I could see that being embraced too. It's a winning team. I mean, yeah, Jerry will be second bested. I mean, they're huge, and they'll still sell out. We all know they'll still sell out. Everything like they always do. But this is going to bring a winning team if this happens. Yeah.
It's going to make Jerry get off his 4th point of contact and get something done.
Yes, I agree. Great call, Philip. Anyway, I appreciate your call, my friend. Thank you.
Thank you. Bye.
All right, bye. And go Red Raiders, right? Let's see, Jason. Or what is it? Guns Up? Is that what it is? Red Raiders? Is it Guns Up, Red Raiders? How does that go? Oh, come on, Garrett! He's with the Screaming Eagles from UNT. All right, Jason in North Richland Hills, you're on News Talk. Well, you're on 820 AM and now 93.3 FM WBAP. Hey, Jason. Jason, are you there? Jason? Hola? Bueno? Jason? Okay, I'm talking to something. I'll put you on hold. We'll see if you can bring you up from the phone dead zone or whatever. 800-288-WBAP is our number, 800-288-9227. Okay, so we chew on this a little bit, and let's do that. Would you welcome the Kansas City Chiefs as a new NFL team in Dallas, and would you be open to tax incentives to make that happen? I think tax incentive people freak out about, but I think that personally for me, I'm open to it. I'm open to having a second team. We are big enough. We are doing nothing but exploding. And Arlington and Southeast Dallas or Southwest Dallas aren't too far, but how far are the Jets and the Giants stadiums? How far are the LA Rams and the LA Chargers? Wait, shut up. The Jets and the Giants play in the same stadium? Shut up. Meadowlands? Is it Meadowlands? Shut up. Are you serious? I literally did not know that. Are you kidding me? And the LA Rams and the Chargers are in the same freaking stadium? Are you lying to me? Holy crap. Now, Jerry won't let us play, the Chiefs play it. Are you serious? I had no freaking idea. Didn't they used to play in separate stadiums? One in New Jersey and one in New York? I swear to you, no? No, he doesn't know. Okay, that's all right. You know more than I do about sports, so I'm going to use you as a reference, Producer Garrett. But nonetheless, I think we do have enough fan base, income base, and ticket sales in our metropolitan area to support it. I think the Chiefs are winning, and I think that we would love to have a winning football team for once. And, I mean, why wouldn't the fourth largest metropolitan area be able to handle two football teams if the first and second do? The third is Chicago, and we will overtake them in population in about 10 to 20 years. I read in the Dallas Morning News about 2, 3, 4 years ago, they said about 20 years from now, we'll overtake Chicago. They've got an extra million and a half more than us, so it'll take some time for sure. But unlike San Francisco, we eclipsed because they had about 80,000 more than us, and then we obviously overtook them with the people fleeing. So, all right, your call coming up next. Would you welcome the Kansas City Chiefs to a new NFL team to Dallas? Would you be open to tax incentives to make that happen? It's pretty shocking, but it actually seems to be on the table, seems to be pretty serious, with the mayor offering tax incentives and the mayor offering Hensley Field in 700 acres with a beautiful view apparently from that area. And he will not confirm or deny if he has talked to the owners of the Chiefs, the Hunt family that owns the Chiefs. So that's very interesting. You'd think he'd say, I haven't talked to them yet, but I'm reaching out to them. You know what I mean? I don't know. Who knows? But the mayor's a lawyer, so he knows how to speak legalese. Okay, I'm going to play a little bit more from the mayor's interview that aired today with Clayton Neville. Part 2 airs tomorrow on 570 KLF, our sister station, News and Information, at 720. I'm going to play, I got a little more extended piece of audio I haven't played yet, and it really shows the mayor has really apparently thought about this, done some homework on it, and has some exact ideas on how to do this. Coming up next, it's Chris Crock on News Talk 820 WBAP, now on FM at 93.3. I tweeted something during the Super Bowl. In the waning moments, I was driving. We were coming back in the fourth quarter. There's like 5 minutes left. There 4 minutes left in the game, and I did not know whether the Chiefs would win or lose. But the Chiefs were down. Remember that? And I literally told my wife, I don't tweet while I'm driving, obviously. I literally, unless I'm at a stoplight maybe, I literally told her, I said, tweet this for me. And I said, Taylor Swift is why the Chiefs lost the Super Bowl. And so I tweeted that out, and then she's like, oh, and then she's like, you're going to regret it. You don't know. And then, all that. She's always worried about me getting in trouble or something. I'm like, yeah, okay, there's no trouble. Trouble? What's that? Take a number. So and then like minutes later, they won. And she's like, she laughed at me and everything like that. My own wife, she ridiculed me in my own home. I was under attack in my own home. Anyway, nonetheless, I said, I'm keeping it. I stand by that tweet. I stand by that tweet. Yes, she cannot come with the Chiefs. I agree. And what's his name? Kelsey get? I don't want that guy. Do you want that guy? I don't want anything to do with him. You wouldn't mind if he was on our team? Yeah, I don't know. Okay, so here's the question, as Dwayne says. Let's see here. I owe him a call back. He's called me twice, and I haven't called him back. I swear to you. I'm so sorry, Dwayne. I mean that, by the way. I do mean that, seriously. Okay, let's play some long-term audio bites here, some longer ones from Clayton Neville. I want to take your call, too. Would you welcome the Kansas City Chiefs as a new NFL team to Dallas, as the mayor now says he's trying to do, and he's serious about it, and he's got tax incentives that he talked about the incentives, but he talked about the 700-acre site called Hensley Field, breathtakingly beautiful, according to him, in southwest Dallas on the border of where it borders Grand Prairie. Here's another piece of audio from the mayor's interview with Clayton to show you how serious he is.
More specific, to show you that I'm not just sort of talking theoretically here. I believe that we, and I say we, I mean the city of Dallas, right now would be in a position to negotiate with the Chiefs organization to build a sports complex that would be the envy of the entire world and would be the best in the NFL at Hensley Field in Dallas. I think that the Chiefs organization could have a stadium and a headquarters that would exceed, that would be more impressive than Jerry World and the Star right in the city of Dallas. And I think that deal can be done.
All right, here's another piece of audio from now listen, I'm not having conversations with people who call in to talk to my producer, then my producer talks to me. So to the guy who keeps calling us, now he said what? Jessica Simpson was here with Tony Romo. Yeah, I know. Okay, dude, call in. I'm not doing this anymore with you. I love you, but you would make a great caller. But stop communicating to my producer. Call in on the show because you sound like you'd be a fun caller. 800-288-WBAP. 800-288-9227. 800-288-WBAP. Was he dating Tony Romo? She dated Tony Romo back in the day. Yeah. No, remember the days of No-Mo Romo? Remember that? Okay, here's some more.
It's about thinking about what's the best for an organization that's a business organization that's about making money. That's the NFL. What the two teams that would be involved in this would want and need from a financial standpoint, that would be the Chiefs organization and the Cowboys, and the governmental entities that the locations would fall within, what they are willing to do and structure in terms of a deal to benefit them economically and their taxpayers. There's some combination of incentives and things that could be done that makes sense for a city and potentially even a county to participate in, where we'd see the long-range benefit of the economic development in exchange for the upfront incentives.
He wants the Dallas County money with 2.5 million people. The population of Dallas is not increasing and blowing up. It is the outside of Dallas. Where the boom is in Collin County, perhaps collaring Dallas in northern Dallas County, perhaps. Well, that's grown out. That really has grown out. Some areas of perhaps northeastern, but it really is in Collin and Denton primarily. That's it. Those are the boom areas. And so, but nonetheless, he's as serious as it can be. We got room for one more? I think we do. Here's the last piece of audio from Mayor Johnson's interview with Clayton Neville.
I would argue that you could put together a deal with Hensley Field and the Chiefs that would blow out of the water anything else that I've seen in the NFL, including Jerry World and including the Star.
Now, we all agree, though, Jerry's not going to let this happen. He's going to do everything he can to stop it. He's one of the richest owners. You think he is the richest owner of the NFL? The Cowboys is the Cowboys are worth the most in the world. I know that, well over, a bill. Was it well? Actually, it's not even well over $1 billion. It's billions now, isn't it? Yeah, $8 billion. You think? Yeah, because I know it used to be they were the first $1 billion team back in the day. Remember that? NFL team, but now it's like the multi-billion dollar team because of Bidenomics and Bidenflation. Okay, coming up next in the Chris Crock Show. This is I am so temperamental about the eclipse. We have so much to talk about with the eclipse. I read through a couple more articles today on what we can expect to happen. including the most ridiculous, asinine things, period, in my opinion. And the advice that you get if you're driving in the eclipse is the most hysterical moron advice. Okay, if you're a moron, attention, alert, moron alert. This is what you will do if there's an eclipse and you're driving. This kind of stuff that's outrageously pathetic and stupid, but nonetheless, some people, I guess, are that dumb, possibly. They need to be warned about it. But then also, the amount of people coming. Foreigners are coming from, you got to hear where some of the farthest out foreigners are coming from all over the globe. And then we have more information that is extremely disturbing, honestly, about traffic stuff. We have so much to get in on that coming up next on the Chris Crock Show on News Talk 820 WBAP and now on FM at 93.3.